Alright, hey guys, it's Silver here from Speedruns Live, and today I want to actually talk about Leagues Under the Ink. I mentioned a while back that I was going to make a video where I talked about it and how it went, like some of the background stuff that people don't know, and then I completely forgot to do it. I completely spaced it, and so now I'm here to go over that. So the first thing I want to talk about is the divisions themselves. So Leagues Under the Ink was going to have it did have three different divisions. It had Division A, Division B, and Division C. Division A was going to be the top 16 teams following the Season 0 rankings, which I have up and I'll go over in a second. The Division B was going to be basically any other team that had participated in a tournament on Squidboard, so like any other ranked team. And then Division C was going to be any team that was formed for the league or had just never played in a tournament. So Division A was going to be based off the Season 0 rankings that Best Teammaker made for the August to December, I believe. So basically, basically how teams performed in tournaments. And so the top 16 on the rankings were going to be automatically top division. And so looking at this, the top 16 teams are as follows: Paradise, Squidbox, Choke Squad, Retro Squids, which was Nintendo prior to the starting, and then they became Overlook when they started. Name subject to change, Koopa Clan, NSTC's second team, Exultance Gaming, JFG, New Order, Offshore, All-Star Squad, On the Blink, Guardian Gaming, Cyberbullies, and Speedruns Live. So the issue with this is, one, Squidbox didn't exist. Like, they disbanded before LUTI started. Exultance Gaming also disbanded, Offshore disbanded, All-Star Squad disbanded, and I'm not sure who On the Blink is. I think that's On the Bounce under a different name. And then Guardian Gaming, I think, also disbanded, I want to say. So a good portion of the top 16 teams were no longer available to participate. So what they did is they took the next teams. So after us, SRL, it was Cooldown, Tentacle Difficulties, Alias, and Deg Team. Alias also disbanded prior to LUTI starting, so they couldn't take them. So what they did is they took Cooldown, Tentacle Difficulties, and Deg Team and made the top division. So the top division ended up being, let's see here if I can get this to. So most of the divisions were split into like sections. So Division A had A1 and A2. Division A1 was Team Paradise, Name Subject to Change, Name Subject to Change 2, JFG, On the Bounce, Cooldown, Deg Team, and Get Kraken. The A2 division was Overlook, Choke Squad, Koopa Clan, New Order, Speedruns Live, Tentacle Difficulties, Cyberbullies, and Los Falcon Punch. Now some of these teams didn't really fit. Like Los Falcon Punch on the rankings was number 24. Get Kraken, they deserved to be in it, that was fine. I'd never heard of Deg Team prior to LUTI, so I had no idea where they came out, where they came from in that regard. But yeah, so that was the top division. Now, prior to the divisions being announced, it was stated in the official thread, registrations and seeding will be based on Season 0 rankings August to December 2015. Then the league was going to start February, or it says January 31st, but it actually started in February. So it was not going to count the rankings in January, which a lot of people made a huge fuss out of around the time the divisions were going to be announced at the end of January. Teams like Squids Next Door started placing in tournaments in January, and felt that their placement should reflect their a change in the divisions, and they did really good. Like, they've definitely changed from the first time we ever played them. So I respect that they wanted to bring attention to the fact that they've improved and want people to acknowledge that. But the rules were set prior to that happening, and it was mentioned that the rankings were not going to, the January was not going to be taken into effect. And yet people tried to argue that there were changes in the placements of teams in the tournaments in January that should change how they're placed. Like, for example, at the start of January, there was 2 tournaments that we did not play in because we were attending Awesome Games Done Quick, and so we didn't, we had our second team entered and did okay, and then people were trying to say that we didn't belong in Division A because our January rankings had us drop from 16 to 20 or something, and so people were saying that we shouldn't classify as a top division team. So there were huge arguments to try and have us drop to Division B. I don't have any of the images anymore. I took a bunch of them, but I didn't save any of them, so I can't find them. But there was definitely a lot of talk of people saying oh, SRL should be Division B. They don't belong in Division A. Their rankings in January was garbage. You can't let their past rankings reflect what they are. And so there's this huge issue where people just didn't want us in top division. And so after a few days of people bombarding Best Team Maker about it and the whole staff, they officially came out and said that January is going to remain irrelevant. And so the January rankings did not affect the placements of the divisions. So we ended up in top division. Now, I want to move on to the way that matches were handled. So every week you were given an opponent and a map list, and then you had to schedule with your opponent when the matches were going to happen. So our first set was against Cyberbullies, I believe. Yeah. So basically what we had to do was we had to contact them and ask them when they were going to play us, or when they were available to play us. And I think I recall Tudo saying that we were being ignored for 3 days straight. They just didn't reply to us. And so it took some time to actually get a response out of somebody. And so we ended up playing them. And the league had a restream going where they had commentators rebroadcasting player streams and providing commentary over it. Well, because we were viewed as not worthy of being top division, some of the commentators went in and assumed that we were going to lose. Our matches against Cyberbullies, I remember the commentator saying something like, "This is going to be an easy 5-0 for Cyberbullies. SRL has only lost to them," which is completely incorrect. I believe the only time we lost to Cyberbullies in a tournament prior was when they had a pickup team from people on other, actual, top teams, and so we ended up losing to them. But that was, our first tournament, way back in November or something. So, there were people saying we were going to get easy 5-0'd. We ended up winning 5-2. So, Cyberbullies only took 2 games off us, and we won. So, week 2, we played Koopa Clan. Now this, going into our division, we looked at some of these teams, and we were like, okay, these are definitely teams that we're probably going to lose to. Realistically, we're going to lose. And Koopa Clan was absolutely one of those teams where we're like, well, we're going to put up a fight, but who knows what's going to happen. We play them. Commentators were like, oh, this is going to be an easy 5 over Koopa Clan, which, I'll give them that one. Koopa Clan is a really good team, and we kind of expected to lose, but we won 5-2. we got the same score against them as we did Cyberbullies, and we ended up taking the win. Week 3, we played Los Falcon Punch. We had played them in tournaments prior. Their biggest issue is that they have a decent amount of latency. They're all from Mexico, so their internet's a little shaky because it's not really like that good down there, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but they had a fair amount of latency, which most people complain about. But once again, we were told we were going to lose by the commentators and a bunch of people, and so we played and we won 5-2 again. So the week 4 we played Team Overlook. Now these guys we've been friends with for quite some time. We were friends with them like when they were back when the original Overlook, and then when they became Team Nintendome, and then when they became Retro Squids, and then when they became Overlook again. So we had like some jokes going back and forth, and Static from the team made like this huge like hype video about how they were gonna beat us and all this, like a huge rivalry video. And then we played, and we won 5-2. Yet again, the 5-2 stuck around, and it was another one where people were like saying that we were going to lose and that Overlook was a better team. So we kind of surprised people with the 5-2 again. So week 5 we played New Order. Now, unfortunately, they scratched the results, but I remember what it was because New Order disbanded after our set with them. So on the league, they just decided to change the score to a 0-0. But basically, New Order was a group of people from a team, 8-Bit Squids, plus a bunch of other people. And so, it was basically me who knew them, because I knew some of them from 8-Bit Squids, and the rest of them were just kind of like people we didn't really know. We played them. We ended up winning 5-3. They were the first team to take more than 2 games off of us. Though, they had a guy who was playing who was really questionable with his internet. Like, I remember he was like a 52 gal, and he was throwing a splash wall down, but while the animation of the splash wall coming out, he was still firing at me, and so I died while he was throwing a splash wall out. And there was times where he had bullets coming out of him while he was swimming, and so we threw some of the games because we were just like, what's going on? And we ended up having a speed test done on him, and I think he was like 10 down and 10 up or something, but it certainly didn't seem like it. So instead of throwing a huge fit about it, we just asked them to have him restart his router, and hopefully that fixed the issue, and we just went from there. Week 6 we played Choke Squad. Another one of those teams where like, okay, we're probably gonna lose. These guys have been like destroying people. We remember seeing their names in like first place a lot, and so we're like, we're probably just gonna end up losing. So we play them, and we win 5-3. I had a really good match against them. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording, but I think Tudos has the video. But basically, we got in a situation on Underpass Rainmaker where it was me versus like 4 of them, and I managed to kill 3 of them by myself as an Octobrush. And then I think it was Toful who jumped in and got the 4th one for me, and we ended up getting the push to 2, I think it was. And which was funny because people in the LUTI chat were complaining about us, saying that it was disrespectful for us to go for the KO against Choke Squad, which was pretty freaking hilarious that somebody thinks that playing the objective is disrespectful. So we ended up winning 5-3. And then week 7 we played Tentacle Difficulties, a team that a lot of people made fun of. A lot of people mocked them and said they actually didn't belong. So we played them. We won 5-1. So about on average, we still ended like 5-2 every match. So the overall standings. So for Division A1, NSTC ended up going 7-0. They didn't lose a single set. We also went 7-0, didn't lose a single set, which is a huge surprise to a lot of people that were like, SRL doesn't belong in top division, they're bad, and they deserve to be in B division, and it was kind of funny, because we went 7-0, didn't lose, we lost a few games, but that, we didn't lose the sets, and so it was kind of like a huge eye-opener for a bunch of people that doubted us, and to show that our true skill. So, let's see here if I can bring up the bracket, because a few weeks ago there was the playoffs for Division A. Because we ended up, getting top, we played in the final playoffs for it. So, let's see here. So for the first round, we ended up getting a bye round 1. We had to, for round 2, we played on the bounce, and we won 3-1. Then in round 3, we had to play cooldown, and we won 3-1. Then in semifinals, we played name subject to change, and we lost 3-2. So then we got put into losers bracket, where we had to wait, because we were in losers finals. And so we waited, and we ended up playing Koopa Clan in losers finals, and we won 3-2. And so we went back up to grand finals against NSTC, and we lost 4-0. So basically what that amounted to is throughout the entirety of LUTI, we only lost to NSTC. No other team beat us. So that for a team that people said that didn't belong in top division, I just find that hilarious that we only lost to, at the time, number 1. I guess they're still considered number 1, but yeah, we'd only lost to them throughout the entirety of the event. So that's how that went. As opposed to the other things, the TOs were okay, a little questionable with some of the other the other things I saw. We didn't have too many problems with them because we never really had to interact with them. But I definitely saw a lot of the times where the TOs were saying things that they shouldn't have, going off on people, swearing at players, and throwing a huge fit about things. And then I don't remember who it was, but there was one TO that went on this huge rant about how the players should stop complaining about rules, their own rules, which was hilarious. And there was also a slight problem with the TOs not enforcing the rules at all. There was a team that demanded a speed test on Los Falcon Punch, and so the TO asked the captain to provide a speed test for the player, and the captain just said no. Just straight up told him no. And the TO's like, okay, I guess that's it. Keep playing. Didn't put down the hammer and say, no, you need to do this, otherwise there's going to be some problems. Just accepted the no and continued on. And then there was the problem with the restream. The guy running the restream, Best Teammaker, didn't exactly have the best internet. So the stream often went down and was unstable, shaky, all that, and then there were some issues with video loading, but that was more on Twitch's thing. People don't seem to understand that Twitch, with their VODs, they're terrible at loading. Just god-awful. The videos they try to maintain 30 seconds ahead, but half the time they'll just stop trying. And so you'll catch up to where it's loaded, and then it just stops. And so he had a few issues with that, but that's more of Twitch's problem, not really so much him. But the stream going down, constantly was a huge issue, especially for the people that just wanted to watch and weren't, participating, or were just there to see what competitive Splatoon looked like. The stream constantly going down did not look very good. Now, unfortunately, Best Teammaker has stepped down from LUTI staff, so he will not be playing, or he will not be helping out for the next season. But I hope that the restream comes back, and hopefully it will be a bit more stable, because that was definitely something I liked watching, was to hear people's reactions to what we did. But having to cycle through like 50 videos that were like 2 minutes long just to find our match was not fun at all. And then the inconsistency with streaming. Half the time we would be told our matches are going to be streamed, and the other times there would just be no stream at all. So it was very unclear whether or not they were going to be consistent with it or not. And so I don't know if that was something with like BTM not being home, or his internet was just not working at all, or whatever, but there was definitely some inconsistency with the stream going. That was a bit of a downer. There was some, that's why they ended up doing the VOD rebroadcasting, was because they were unable to catch the live ones, or for the people that can't stream, they had to record videos, and so that's how that was handled. But other than that, it was okay. They announced that the next season of LUTI will have a new division, a division above A division, so I guess S division, if we're going to go off the game's rankings. So the S division, so far, they've only announced that NSTC, Cooldown, I think, Koopa Clan, and us will be guaranteed for this next new division. The other they haven't announced anyone else that's going to be in there, but it's assumed that probably some other top placements on the other LUTI, or maybe the new top teams, by the time that rolls around, will be in that. But they've just announced that there's going to be a new division above Division A, and that those 4 teams that are listed are guaranteed to be in that next time. So, yeah. I'm kind of excited for that. I enjoyed the concept of LUTI. It was interesting. They really tried something new, being Splatoon's first competitive league. And now there's the ESPL, which that was a thing. I don't know if I really want to go into that one. That thing was a nightmare. Just believe me, that was not fun to play in, personally. But it's just, I don't know. I really look forward to the next season of LUTI. It should be interesting, especially with this new division. I want to see if the divisions are actually going to be handled correctly this time. Like I said at the start, that the Division A was supposed to be the top 16 teams, and then some teams that just appeared out of the blue on there, like Deg Team, that I've never heard of, but apparently are considered top. I actually didn't mention that, but Deg Team ended, they ended 0-7. They never won. They only won 2 games across the whole thing. And they were considered for top division. So I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. I have no idea where they came from. But yeah, so I guess that's it. I don't know what else to say, other than the fact that I hope that next time that the TOs are in a better mood, the restream will be handled better, and the divisions are carefully looked at this time and handled properly. But other than that, it went perfectly fine. I had no other complaints. The teams were very nice about scheduling. There was only a few times we had issues. I think the only teams we had issues with scheduling were Cyber Bullies, because they took forever to reply. Choke Squad we had to have a reschedule with because they only were able to play on a certain day, and that one day that they wanted to play, we couldn't, so we had to reschedule that. And then I think Los Falcon Punch, simply because I don't think they actually spoke that well of English, so we had a hard time communicating with them. But other than that, it was really simple. Communicating and keeping up with that and scheduling was simple. Playing the matches was easy, right, straight to the point. We didn't have to worry about like other teams in a tournament. It was just, this is when we're gonna play. Start the lobby, let's go. And that was miles better than any tournament so far, where we had to jump through a million hoops just to get our match going. And so it was really nice, and I appreciate that. It was fun to play in, and all I can say is I look forward to the next one. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you all later.